So when I was in seminary over 3 years ago, well, 3 years ago, but this a bit earlier in seminary, I had a class on the prophets with my professor, and she told us this story from Jeremiah, and she said it's the story of the dirty underwear. And it's been 3 years. I've never had an opportunity to preach on it. But let's try. Let's see what happens. I've never done a preaching on dirty underwear before, but maybe there's a message here. I was kind of excited this morning. So it's kind of a shocking thing, right? Like it's a loincloth, but the Lord uses shock and kind of something uncomfortable to get a point across. So what is the Lord saying? He's saying, Jeremiah, wear this loincloth for some time. And what does that represent? The loincloth was something that was very intimate. It was the innermost garment that you wear, right? Like you don't show your underwear in public. It's something private, something intimate, something that's important. And so he's wearing this, and then the Lord tells him, now take it off, which is kind of a weird thing because you didn't do that. Now take this underwear and put it and hide it in a rock by the Euphrates River. Okay. So he takes it and he hides it in the cleft of a rock and leaves it there for some time. So it's been maybe days, months, weeks, who knows. And then the Lord says, go retrieve it. Okay. So he goes, retrieves this loincloth, and it's like pretty gross. Like it's old, it's kind of dirty, it's deteriorating. And he says, now I'm going to give you the prophetic message. Israel, you've allowed yourself to become like dirty underwear. Okay. And then he says, it's your pride. It's your pride. You have self-righteousness. The Lord has created you for a covenant, and yet you have gone into idolatry with other nations, and you start serving their gods and living with their people, and you haven't been faithful to the covenant. And you see the intimate, beautiful message here underneath all of this. Get past the awkwardness of it all. But what are we clinging to? That's the message. Jesus has called us for deep intimacy with himself. So underwear, loincloth, clings to something that's intimate. It's the flesh, it's the human body. And Jesus has said, I've called you for intimacy. But yet you've taken that and you're clinging to other things. So now you're in the dirt, you're not where you're supposed to be, and look what happens to you. You've deteriorated. You've become dirty. You've become useless. He says here, Israel, you're useless to me now. And when he's saying useless, it doesn't mean irredeemable, because we always have the opportunity for contrition and turning to the Lord. But he said, this is your current state. It's not pretty. And what happens in our own lives when we forget who we are and we cling to other things that are not God? Our fame, relationships, anything. They're not bad in themselves, but when we're making them our places of intimacy in our life, we become like dirty underwear. And it's not pretty. But Jesus has come into the world, and in Revelations we hear he's the bridegroom, and he's calling us into intimacy with himself. And we're given these fresh linens, we're given this fresh dignity and relationship. But we have to wake up and realize, I want to become like clean underwear again, right? I want to be close to the Lord, and I need to plug in and drink from the living waters of Jesus. And so it's actually a message of hope. This is our current reality in our world. I was walking around last night around the Glebe, and I had a weird evening. I went to see a movie, and it was great, and I enjoyed that. And then I was talking to some people, and I was wearing a shirt that said, Jesus is King. I forgot I was wearing it, but it kind of just stands out, and it's a bit jarring. And then I had a conversation with a man, and he was really perturbed. And I thought he was going to go in a direction, but he was really off-put. And I realized it was probably maybe my shirt triggered him. And then I had a conversation with another lady, and it was a bit better. But we're in a world that has rejected Christ. And we need to continue to turn back to him and remember what we're called for.